Hey guys, it's Harleywood here. The rifle is clear. Alright, if you saw my last video, I reviewed this BDS tactical single point sling, talked about the things that I did not like about it, and in that video I mentioned that I was going to be switching to a Magpul solution. Put this aside for just a minute. Just a quick recap. Basically it all boiled down to the pad. This thing digs into your neck when it's around you here, digs in really bad. So I'm done with this thing. Alright, I have had this Magpul. This is the MS3 sling for Magpul, the flat dark earth or coyote version, excuse me. And I've had this on my shotgun. I'll be doing a review of my tactical shotgun here soon. I have a couple accessories on here that make it kind of unique and fun. But I've had this on there, and I'm going to now switch it out. The problem is I'm not really a big fan of these here. So these clips are, I guess proprietary Magpul clips, I don't know. But basically you can use this as a 2-point and connect it to 2 different points on your firearm, or you can bring this one in, hook it here, and it becomes a single point sling. Just not really a huge fan of this. I'm a bigger fan of QD attachments, the QD points. So Magpul actually came out with the MS4. It's the predecessor to this, and it has QD points on it instead of these. They also make an adapter. So if you already have this sling, I can take this off, put the adapter on. I can take this off and put another QD point here, and essentially it becomes the MS4. So let me reposition the camera, get that rifle out of the way, and we'll take a look at what it takes to make that happen. Alright guys, so on the table here you'll see the 4 items that it takes to make this conversion possible. 2 of them are completely necessary. 2 of them are optional depending on your rifle setup and how you want the QD sling to actually interface with your rifle. So let's go over the necessary ones first. The first one is this MS1 to MS4 adapter, and I've already sliced all these open, but here's what it looks like. It has a QD point here. It has the piece for the sling to sling into there, and it's a direct replacement for this little knobby guy. Okay, so that will swap out seamlessly there. And then on the other end of this sling, we will need a QD sling swivel. Sling swivel, say that 5 times. This is also from Magpul. It looks like that. And it's a direct swap for this piece here. Okay. The other 2 pieces that are somewhat optional, but you will need some way to connect a QD to your rifle. I have the Noveske NSR rail on the front of mine, which has the KeyMod system. So I bought a KeyMod QD swivel mount. Let me pull this out of here so you can see what it looks like. This is made directly by Noveske for the NSR KeyMod, and it looks like that guy there. And these are the cams that interact with the QD, or excuse me, the KeyMod system. I will show you when excuse me, they're on this side. I'm looking at it backwards. I'll show you how to hook that up in case you do have that system. And then you also need something in case you want this to be a 2-point sling. You need something on the back end. Now some people have butt stocks that allow for it. I do not. I am thinking of getting the Mission First Tactical Battle Link, so be on the lookout for that. In fact, it's not a maybe. I probably am getting it. But in the meantime, I'm going to put this Noveske QD end plate on there. And basically, this QD end plate allows this to interface directly with the end plate on your rifle. Not sure how much I'm going to like that, but I do really think I'm going to like the Battle Link minimalist buttstock. So if you're interested in seeing that when I do that review, hit subscribe, and that should be in the next week or so. So let's move a lot of this stuff aside. Let's get the rifle back on the table, take some of this stuff apart, and we'll show you how to put this all together. Alright, so I got the rifle up here on the table. Let's go ahead and get these pieces off of the current sling. Pretty simple. All you have to do is basically deconstruct the sling here. So I'm going to take that off. Okay, we're going to set that to the side because I'm not going to need that. I'm going to go ahead and take this ring off of the system, pull this strap, and you got to remember how this was all put together, so pull this strap back through here, take this old piece off, set that to the side, and then we're going to go in reverse order. I'm going to take the QD piece, feed it through here, just make sure that that is twisted. Just twist that around, make sure you got it in the right way. So now it's not twisted, we're just going to let it hang there for a moment. I'm going to feed this back through here. Pull all that slack out. Now we're going to put the other piece back together. There we go. Alright, so now we've got that piece all set up there. Okay? So the next thing to do is we're going to have to take, actually let's do the easy part first. I'm going to take this, the key mod adapter. I'm going to move this up here to get you a good look at it. I'm going to put it, at least for my own trial, I'm going to put it as close to the receiver end of the rifle as possible. So it's going to have this little tang right there. You see that piece sticking down? Alright, that tang is actually going to go in the, so you have those two cams, they're going to go in 1, 2. That tang is going to overlap into number 3. So let's put these in. Make sure you keep it lifted just enough to snap that tang down over number 3. You see that there? It snaps in. And this is the beauty of the key mod system. Boom, done. That's it. Okay, so now we've got that. A little bit more labor intensive, but still not bad, is we're going to take this receiver plate off. Let me reposition the camera and we'll get you a closer look. Okay, so now we've got the rifle on the table, got the other stuff out of the way. Let's go ahead and break the rifle down and get it ready for that end plate. So in order to get this Magpul MOE stock off, we're just going to pull that pin down, pull that off, set it to the side. I'm going to go ahead and take the upper receiver off. Set that to the side. I'm going to let my trigger forward nice and easy, just so that it doesn't do it accidentally and smack into the receiver. And then we want to go ahead and get this castle nut off. So you got to get your armorer's tool, and let's get that thing off of there. Alright, so broke that loose. Pinch my finger, no big deal. And then watch your detent pin here, your buffer tube detent pin, because as you're unscrewing this, you want to make sure that that thing does not release on you and just shoot your buffer tube out. So we're going to go ahead and start to unscrew this now. Keep the current end plate in place as much as possible, because there is a little spring in there that we don't want to crimp. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and let this buffer tube out of here, or this buffer spring. Take that out. There we go. Yep. And I did goober up that spring. If you see it there, I don't know if the. All right, I think I have a replacement one, so we'll take care of that. Alright, and there you can see that this did pop up, and I've goobered up this spring before too in there. If you've ever taken these things apart, there's a lot of little springs. There's a spring up inside here that keeps your safety mechanism in place. There's that spring there with the little detent that's trying to fall out. You can see it there. So you got to be really careful when you take in one of these apart that you understand where everything goes back together and what could come flying out as a result of you taking it apart. So let me go find another spring to replace this one. Be right back. Alright, I bought one of these little extra parts kits from Brownells. I've had this thing sitting around for a while. Exactly what I needed. There are several additional springs in here for exactly this, because I'm sure I'm not the first guy who's boogered one of these up. Let me make sure I'm getting the right one here. In fact, it looks like there's several that are all the same. So these are all the same. Here's that other spring that I've boogered up. There's lots of redundant springs in here. There's the actual detents in here. All kinds of stuff. So, got the right one out. Let's set the boogered up one to the side over here. Seal this back up, put it away for future use because I'm sure I'll need it. And we'll start putting this thing back together. So, alright, here I have the old one. Let me maneuver this off. Okay, you'll see this channel right in here. It fits right in here with this. That was my bad. So when I was twisting this, I was forcing that piece to twist with me. See, this is, I don't take this buffer tube off very often, so this is one of those things you got to know when you're taking these apart. See how it slides like that? Well, when I was twisting this off of the receiver, this piece was coming with it. So, hey, that's why we have spare parts on hand. So let's take this off. Let me see if I can show you the bend here. Look at that. See how this is bent up on the end? This is just cheap Chinese pot metal, probably. Just crap. So I'm actually going to throw that away, never use it again. But let's go ahead and put the Noveski end plate on there. Being mindful of that groove. Slides right on, and there you can see the QD point there. Let me make sure my detent is still in there. See that little detent right there? That's what actually keeps this piece in. So I'm going to make sure that's lined up, slide it back in, and you'll know if it's in if you can't twist this rear lock in a circle. If it's not engaged, you will be able to twist that. Alright. Alright, at this point I can actually go ahead and push that detent down, and you see the buffer tube already captured it, and I'm going to give it one more solid turn. Nope, that's one too far. Let's back it out. You want to make sure it still captures that, but it'll only go so far before this binds and won't push past that anymore. Alright, I'm going to twist that just so slightly out of the way. Again, that detent fell out of my hand. I don't know if you caught that on camera. I'm bleeding, you can see it. I'm going to push that detent back in there. Drop that spring in. There we go. Now I've got it in there, and I'm going to very gently push that straight down. Hold that down and turn my castle nut back. Lock it all down. Alright, so there it is. The end plate is now on there, the Noveski end plate. Pretty freaking sharp. Use my armorer's wrench. Let's tighten this back. Make sure you get this right. The last time, I don't remember what I took this off. Oh, I actually took it off when I put this piece of junk on. And the last time I did that, I had this one turn not far enough in, and this piece would continually, every time I'd take a shot, it would pop out. It would pop out. I'd push it back, and I'd put the buffer spring back in, and it would just keep popping out. So make sure you get that right. You should turn this as far as you can until it won't turn anymore, and then back it off just enough to get it aligned and get everything straight, and then tighten your castle nut down. So let me tighten that down, and we'll put this all back together. And I'm sure there's a torque setting or something that somebody's going to call me out on this, so feel free. I do it hand tight. You saw when I took it off, and I've shot 1,000 rounds through this thing just doing it hand tight. No problem, so I don't want to hear it. Alright, let's put the buffer spring back in. There we go. Make sure your pins work. Safety works. That one shouldn't have been affected. There we go. Let's put this back on the end. This is a commercial buffer tube, by the way. This is a Bushmaster. I think they come standard with the commercial buffer tube. Looks like everything's back in place. So one thing I already noticed, look at this. When I have this stock collapsed, it is going to interfere with the QD point being here. So right away, I see a problem. Obviously, I can keep it out one notch. Not how I typically like to run it, just depends on what I'm doing. You know, if I'm shooting a long distance and I've got this on a bench, I'll have this thing all the way out. If I am out hiking, walking around, and this is hanging from a single or double point, I'll usually have this in. So already I see an issue there. If I do end up getting the Battle Link Minimalist to replace this, basically it looks like the same thing, but it doesn't have this piece right here. Go check it out, it's pretty sweet. And this comes down and tails in just a little bit. So imagine that. Looks pretty awesome. And it has a QD point basically right here where the Magpul one has a hole. There are some Magpul pieces you can get and put in here that allow you to do a QD attachment, but I think I'm going to switch this out anyway, so I really don't care. Alright, so now let's hook up the sling. And there we go, guys. Pretty freaking awesome. Let me reposition the camera and I'll show you this, and I'll show you how this works in the 1-point and 2-point configurations. There it is. So much better than that BDS piece of junk. I mean, it doesn't, even when it does touch your neck, the Magpul's sling is so much, I don't know, it's just smooth. You know, the edges aren't rough, so no problems whatsoever there. Very comfortable. If you're not familiar with the Magpul series of slings, they do have this loop here. So if you wanted to lengthen this, you simply thumb it, pull it down, and you just gained a bunch of extra space. So let's talk about if you want to convert this from a 2-point to a 1-point. So we have it in the new forend piece there on the Noveske NSR rail. So I'm going to take it out of there. Here's that adapter that I put on the back. Plug it in right there, and you can see it has a little bit of play. It has those channels right there that allows it to play a little bit. And now I've got a nice 1-point sling. Tighten it up, and there we go. Now you have a nice 1-point sling. Even this, you know, I know the 2-point comparison a minute ago wasn't exactly apples to apples with this piece of junk, because this is a 1-point, but even in this configuration, this is so much more comfortable. So not a huge fan that I can't collapse this all the way. However, the trade-off for getting rid of this piece of junk, well worth it. So again, guys, this was the conversion from the MS3 to an MS4 with the QD points, showing you also how to enable your rifle for that, specifically if you have, let me adjust this here so you're not talking to my Harley logo, specifically if you have a rifle that has the NSR rail. It's a great little attachment point right here. The Noveske piece on the back in there. Loving it. Be on the lookout. I'm buying that Battle Link Minimalist stock, and look forward to putting that on. And I also, if you watched my video on putting this NSR on, I don't know where it's laying right now. It's probably in a box somewhere. I actually found a black gas tube. I'll be swapping that out. Had to go buy the NSR wrench and all that good stuff. So they nickel and dime you on anything and everything. But loving it, guys. So if you want to see this review when I switch that out, hit the subscribe button below. Hope you enjoyed what you saw. Sorry it was a little bit of a long video, I know, and I bloviated a little bit, but thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.